I've been practicing my singing all morning. You guys want to hear it?
Last Christmas,
We're with the pet hospital down the street, and I understand you have a dying animal on the premises.
What is up, Flick fans? Welcome back to my channel. Hit that thumbs up button if you think I should be a singer. Just kidding. Let's talk about Last Christmas. So Kate is a young woman subscribed to bad decisions. Her last date with disaster? That of having accepted to work as Santa's elf for a department store. However, she meets Tom. Her life takes a new turn, and for Kate, it seems too good to be true. This movie is directed by Paul Feig. I really like Paul Feig. I have not loved every one of his movies, but for the most part, I see something, I respond. I really enjoyed A Simple Favor. That came out last year. His entire resume of filmmaking, it's different. It has this quirky nature to it, and that's something I was excited for this film because I knew he would try his best to bring that to this movie. This film is stacked in terms of talent. You have Emma Thompson, of course, Emilia Clarke, and Henry Golding as our main two leads here, playing off of each other with really good chemistry, might I add. I think they are very good in this movie, especially Emilia Clarke. I want to see her branch out from Game of Thrones. She's attempted. She tried Terminator Jenny Smith. Didn't work really well for her. Now she's here. She gets her chance to play off of a really good actor, and I mean really good, in Henry Golding. Now, I really enjoyed elements of this movie. The majority of them come from the first two acts. We'll talk about the third act here in just a second. But in the first two acts, it embraced that quirky, Christmassy, George Michael heavy charm that you expect going in. Full of cliches, full of conventions. You've seen it 1,000 times. It's a rom-com a dozen, but that's what I was kind of anticipating. I just wanted a sweet, nice, warm movie that's not overwhelming in terms of Christmas. Now, it's the first week of November. We have a while. I'm still not sure why this movie decided to drop now as opposed to in December when we're closer to Christmas. Whatever. Doesn't matter what time it drops. It just matters what kind of mood and spirit it puts you in. And it did a nice job of that at first. And I did find some of the jokes funny. The quirky humor worked kind of well for me. It was ridden with cliches, and that was bringing it down a few notches. I'm just like, it's another predictable rom-com. But at least it's Paul Feig, his nice, slick direction, and really good performances. And then, this is where the crowd that enjoyed the final act is going to revolt against me and say, Austin, you're a Scrooge. It's not true. I love a good Christmas story, and this is a good Christmas story, a nice, gentle rom-com, full of things that we've seen 1,000 times, but done in a nice way. And then you get into that third act, and everything shifts, and I'm sure you all have heard about the shift. Hopefully the shift has not been spoiled for you, so I'm going to try to tiptoe around the particular plot point that I'm talking about, but at that moment, the movie started to make way less sense. Granted, it was predictable where it was going. I was just, hoping it did not go that way. I was hoping it was trying to throw us off, but ended up doing the cliched rom-com thing, which is fine. That's what we signed up for. Or two, just didn't try to... It attempted to shoehorn really all of the subplots that it set up throughout the entire movie, and I was really unaware of how many things there were to balance in this film until it tried to tie them all in a nice Christmas bow at the end. I hit my elbow. When the movie focuses on Tom and Kate, their relationship, at first I'm like, all right, Tom's weird. Tom's just a weird dude, but he embraces it, and Henry Golding is so good in this movie, you accept the fact that he is odd, and you buy the fact that she really is, she's kind of falling for this guy. And I felt that. I felt the chemistry. I felt the romance. And then you have the subplot with her parents and the subplot with her sister and the fact that she has this boss who herself is maybe falling in love with someone. And then she has to balance the boss. And then she has to balance this other thing. And then there are like 5 other things that the movie tries to cram in. And at a point, you're just like, there's a lot going on. It's still cute. It's still quirky. It's still a romantic comedy, but let's see how this all plays out. And then they tackle the storyline that you think is the main storyline throughout the entire movie, and they just kind of knock that out in about 30 seconds. And then they had to wrap up all of these other subplots, and the fact that they knocked it out in the way that they knocked it out, I'm just like, okay. I saw it, but okay. And there's nothing about the ending of this film that allows it to stand apart from the crowded romantic comedy genre. Absolutely nothing. All of the storylines are tied up nicely. Everyone's celebrating, literally singing. And guess what song pops back up? Oh my goodness. The song plays multiple times throughout the entire movie. If you're a George Michael fan, once again, you're going to love this movie. But everything is just so nice and squeaky clean, and everyone's celebrating, getting in the Christmas spirit, and then nothing stood out as, oh, I like the way they handled that. It was far too much Christmas, and I hate to say that because I don't want to sound like that guy, but it did go in that conventional direction that I think we all knew it would go down in the third act. It makes a choice that definitely not everyone is going to predict, but if you see it coming, you're hoping that entire time it's going to swerve. It does not do that, and the entire third act is this big, convoluted, jumbled thing that felt so different from the rest of the film because I was liking what they were doing. It was charming, it was silly, it was quirky, not all of the humor landed. Feig was giving the audience exactly what they wanted. I think a lot of people will be moved by the third act. Many will walk out with tears in their eyes, and if that's the case, I'm so glad this movie worked for you. I just found so many elements of it to fall in that conventional category, and at the end of the day, I was very disappointed with how it went out. I'm still not going to go too low with my score. I'm going 52% for Last Christmas. Goodness gracious, I sound like a Scrooge. I am so sorry. This is not a bad movie. So many things about it work, and I wanted to love it. But when a movie ends on a bad, in my opinion, note, that's the last thing you remember. And it didn't just end. It ended, and then there's another scene, and then it ended, and then there's just another short clip, and I'm just like, you're not Lord of the Rings. Just end the film. Thank you guys so much for watching this movie. Oh man, I'm the Scrooge. I'm the Scrooge this week. Regardless, I will be back very soon with many more reviews. We have Watchmen, we have Rick and Morty, we have my box office breakdown on Sunday. So many things to talk about, and I may just be counting down my favorite horror films of the year tomorrow. Stay tuned, be on the lookout for that. Let's sing our way out.
Last Christmas, I gave you my heart.